To go over the Rex, technically, Matt, you haven't played it before, but you probably know the rules better than anyone else. Yeah, don't leave.
I realise that though.
Yeah, exactly, so you probably know better than anyone else. Right then, apart from me. Right then. So, at the start of the game...
I'm not sure how close to being on camera.
Grab your blooming bag. Grab your sack of wheat.
Ooh, it's dirty.
Right then. So, the objective of the game is to control 3 strongholds. Okay, the strongholds are marked on the board by these red symbols. So there's the Imperial Palace, the Metacol Power South,
Adminus Imperialis,
the Civilians Spaceport, and the Imperial Navy Base. If you control 3, is it 3? I think. Yeah, it is 3. Or is it? No, it can't possibly be 2.
It was 3 last time.
Should probably no. I just read the rules. It's 3. It's 3. It is 3. Yeah. So if you control 3 at the end of the turn, at the end of the round, you win. Okay. The game has 8 rounds.
Right done.
The game has 8 rounds, and if at the end of the 8 rounds, like I can win if I hold these 2 things, or nobody else does. And if I don't win through that, then Sean wins for being a lion.
Rawr.
Exactly.
Why would I be a lion?
So.
Well, I don't know what I am.
When we fight
you're like a
lions.
fish in a bowl. Right then.
That's not good, is it?
Right.
Copyright. Alex going to claim the music on
It's got a breakdown of the turn.
I'm going to have a breakdown.
You've got influence, bidding, recruitment, manoeuvring, battle, collection, and bombardment.
Bombardment!
Some of the phases are much easier than others. So, in the influence phase, that's when the top card of the influence deck is revealed and resolved, and that will either put influence, which is like money, on the board in a location, or it might mean that we could make alliances, or it might mean that this just completely annihilates whatever used to be in a space. Then the bidding phase is the other long part of the game. The bidding phase, a number of strategy cards, which are like your weapons and your defences and your tricks, are revealed equal to the number of players.
Energy rifle.
And then we bid on those, which then give you advantages when you're in the fight. Then it's the recruitment phase. You get a certain amount of free recruitment on your sheet, and then you can pay to recruit additional units that have been killed. You have all the units that you've got in front of you, but you'll have the recruitment is bringing them back from the dead. Basically, we're all necromancers because that's where you start.
Well, where are you?
I'm not on the board. I have to. My deployment's variable.
Oh, right, okay.
After that, it's the manoeuvring phase. This is where you can move from one space to one other space, up to 2 spaces away. That's the only move you can make. Then you can also deploy onto one space on the board any of your figures, but you have to pay money to do it, or pay influence. Then there's the battle phase, which is the other big part of the game. Starting with the first player, you go around and any place that has 2 players,
factions,
dudes in, there's a fight. The fighting is the most like fiddly part of the game, but it is really good. Then the collection phase is really brief. Anyone that's in a space that has influence, that was like revealed and put on the board earlier, each one of your units can bring you 2 influence, so it gives you more money. And then it's the bombardment phase. A bombardment card is drawn, and the dreadnought fleet moves around the table. Anything it moves over, it completely annihilates, unless you're in a shielded space. And that's the breakdown of a turn. Now to set up on your sheet, it tells you your starting influence. I'm dirt poor. It tells you how many units you have in reserve. That's like in El Grande, how many you've got in your court. And then it tells you your starting setup. If I've already done everyone's starting setup except my own, because this one is variable.
I have a question.
Yes.
Where does this one go? That's one I took out.
Oh, that's just the one. Yeah, it just goes in your reserve. I hadn't taken one off the board.
Okay.
Sounds like a stupid question, but where am I set up?
You're not set up. You're not on the board. You've been utterly wiped out.
Okay.
Aww.
So
You didn't get to play the game.
So when we set up the
Game
game,
over.
Where's mine that was chosen for me as a race? Oh, it's that one. There's one.
So
There was one on the portrait.
we've done the game board. We've got the influence over there. We've got the decks. So determine a first player. So everyone draws a card from the bombardment deck.
Oh, it's the destroyed shield thing.
So everyone draw a card. Let's see who's the first player.
Can I look at it?
You're going to have to. 1.
3.
2.
6.
So I imagine it's the highest.
Well,
The lowest. I got 1. Hooray! I'm first player as well. I rule.
Goes clockwise, yeah?
Yeah. Makes sense.
As with every game.
Except Castles of Burgundy.
And Hexex, which can go backwards.
And
as well, so-
Merchants and Marauders.
No, it's
Sort of.
And
It
stats.
still always
Ish.
goes clockwise. But
Right
Yes,
then.
but it ruins
Now
Tom's
we'd already done assign races because it's just easier for the seating. You've got all your leaders on the right. You've got your units. You've got your influence. You've got your reference card, which tells you a turn. It tells you the strength of everyone else's leaders. We aren't playing with the Char. They're the ones that are taken out in a 5-player game. And then on the back, it tells you what all the strategy cards do, which is really useful. Well, no, sorry, not all of them. It tells you what all of the fighting ones do.
so you can get the defense to it. Yeah.
You have got. Yeah, but you are like the ultimate master of. Yeah, but I mean, yeah, but you are the best person in the game at killing leaders. So, right then. So now we select traitors. So this is the traitor deck. It's only got all of ours. There's none of the Alex. None of the Chars in here. You're going to get 4 of these, and you choose one to keep. This card is like an ace in the hole when you're in a fight. If you play this card in a fight, you won't lose any men. Nothing bad will happen to you. You will just crush the other person if they've played this leader. So, of course, typically you want the strongest leader, so that if they play it, you can kick their ass. But, of course, you might want a lower one. You cannot choose one of your own cards unless your entire hand is your own leaders, which is obviously quite unlikely.
Right.
And the reason then you would choose one of your own is then you know no one else has it.
Right.
But if you see your own, then obviously it's quite unlikely. If you see your own now, it's quite unlikely anyone else has it. Because it's only if more cards were drawn that they could get it. So,
Okay.
yeah?
I'm keeping this.
Yep.
It's not like this.
Right then, so everyone gets 1, everyone gets 4,
So I get to keep all 4.
but you keep all 4 of yours, Matt.
Do most of us just have 2 then?
No, 1.
1. Right. Okay.
You only have 1 traitorous agent.
But you
Whereas
can't keep your own.
No, you can't
Yeah.
keep your own unless every
Yeah.
single one of the cards in your hand is your own. So choose someone else's. Yeah.
I don't know who I am.
So Ben, you can show the camera so they know who your traitor is. And don't forget, you can look at the numbers on the leader strengths here to see like what the strongest leader is, because some factions have got very different leaders.
I'll try and figure out what symbols it
Who am I nearest to? Who am I likely to end up in a
Well, I'm nearest to no one,
What
so
if
this is
pictures
a.
mean nothing?
What, sorry?
Pictures mean anything, though.
Well, yeah, because for instance, like your faction, Nick, you've got 2 5s. So one of them's the fish, and one of them's the tank.
Alright.
So if you have the fish traitor, it doesn't work on the tank
Yeah.
leader.
Okay,
So
I've chosen
the
mine.
highest one.
And would the rest of them go back into the pile?
Right, and then all of the rest are discarded and they get shuffled back in. Apart from Matt, because he keeps them all. Because he's a sneaky bastard.
I like this kind
The audience at home know who I have chosen.
Right then.
Good luck, audience!
Right then, so we've
You're
got-
with me now, you're screwed.
right then, now we set up the Dreadnought fleet. The players to the left and the right are the first
Well,
player.
currently Nicola has it, so.
Each take a battle dial.
I am the Dreadnought fleet.
Yeah.
I don't really like how it's not.
Oh,
I'm a real boy!
now when should I...
balanced. Well, it is balanced. But
Yes,
the-
right.
the-
Now, Matt and Ben each choose a number on your dial between 0 and 20,
Oh, I remember this.
and the difference is where the Dreadnought starts.
Why not have a dial?
Because you're not to the left or the right of the starting point.
Oh, I see the numbers. I see the numbers.
Okay.
It goes from 18 to 1.
Actually, it's interesting. You've got to try and find a strategic place, I suppose, don't you?
Well, it does. It's not really going to affect anyone because where everyone starts, it's shielded.
Yeah.
You know, because that would be terrible. You lose. So, great, good game.
No, that happens on turn 2.
To you.
Yep.
Right, so we've got
6.
6 and 9. So it starts on sector 3. Now remember, when this is on the table,
The pleasure district.
it does.
Whoa,
Now,
get away from me.
in the case of number
Don't worry, it's not
3,
heading towards you, it's
there's
heading towards me.
only
Again.
one space, right? But when it moves to number
Which is right next to it.
which has 1.
6.
Now when it moves to 5, it doesn't move here or here.
both of them?
It's in 5.
Yeah.
So everything in those spaces would be affected. Obviously, this
Unless
one's
you're in the cultural
shielded.
sector, yeah.
But even if you're in a shielded space, you can't leave that shielded space while the fleet is bombarding you. So you're trapped there. Okay, so it starts in number 3, and obviously it moves numerically around. It can move
It's like
between
Jim Raynor's
1.
Hyperion.
It can move between 1 and 6 spaces.
Hyperion.
Okay, each turn.
So I just need to stay where I am, basically.
Right then. So now,
Yeah.
Sean, can you give everyone one strategy card from the deck?
I get to.
There you go.
Why do you got this cool stuff? I don't get into it.
That's
Well,
what Matt's whole
Why
faction
aren't you?
is just about the start of the game.
But I have a power that says when another player buys a strategy card, he pays the influence to
buy
you instead of
strategy
the influence pool, so I get all the influence.
What's your thing with being you buy strategy card?
This is what we
I
have.
want extra
Free from
strategy
the
card from the
deck.
free. A higher hand limit.
Pretty badass card there.
Okay,
I
right.
need this, yeah.
Yeah, you can look at that whenever you want. You may never
Watch
ever.
it played with Ben.
You can never show anyone your traitor card or show anyone your strategy cards, but you can tell anyone whatever the fuck you want.
I've got a nuke.
There you go. Right then. Now
2
you,
nukes.
You would gain
I've got all the
influence.
nukes.
You would gain influence equal to
Seriously.
the amount said on your player sheet, but I've already done that. And then we would place units on the board. We've already done that apart from me. I have 10 units that I have to distribute between sectors 5, 13 and 16, but deploying to sector 5 probably won't end terribly well. But,
Ritual suicide is.
well, no, there's a shielded space, so I'm okay there. So I'll put 2 in there.
That's my influence.
Yes.
You got loads.
Is that not what I'm supposed to have?
13
fine.
and 16. Yeah, but you
Well, that's
print money.
That's not the point.
What if it was everyone?
Not the same.
What's the normal recruiting cost of units?
Because I might
I've
have.
not got many.
You get your free units, and then it's 2 per unit.
Okay. So these mechanized are still 2 as well, aren't
So
they?
dead end station. Oh, yeah,
Cost the same amount of influence as deploying or
So
recruiting
you-
regular
so you
units.
were
so-
last time.
Yeah, you get to see the strategy cards.
And then I
before
died
they
in the
come out.
second round.
Yeah.
Right.
No,
Oh, no, because
that
look at
doesn't
me.
happen.
Luckily, this is actually the one space after you instead of
Yeah.
like 3
Yeah, well,
spaces
if you're going to
before.
stand in an empty space with your whole force, that's all.
Yeah, if you
Right,
just-
Lol.
now, has anyone got anything
Somewhere.
on their race
Something to roll
advantages that
fucking
should be
18
done
damage.
during setup?
No.
Not as far as I can see, no.
Okay, well, and then that is where we would start the game from. Okay? So, pause there. That'll make it good. So when there's a battle, that's when there's 2 or more players, pieces in the same region. Okay? There are like a set number, and it's very set order that you do when there's a battle. Okay? So, first of all, you both declare how many units are in there, how many strategy cards you have, not like what type, of course, and well, this is stupid. You declare the strength of the leaders in your reserve. I mean, if they're dead, then you don't have them, and if they're not, well, there they are.
But people do have different numbers on there.
But
Yeah,
they're
but
listed,
everyone
yeah.
everyone can see them on the card.
That's right.
So yeah. Anyway, so you would do that. Then you would like conceal your leaders so that nobody can see which ones you're going to use. Next, you use the battle dial and you select how many units in that space you're actually committing to the battle. Okay, now this is really, really, really important because even if you win, however many you've committed will die. If you lose all of them. But even if you win, if you put all but one of them in the battle and you win, they're all dead. So for people who have to pay a lot to get their units back, that's crippling. So this is all being done secretly, so I'm secretly choosing how many. And I secretly, so I'd flip all these so no one could see what they were. And I would go like, ooh, yeah. Okay, right, and I would lock in the leader and I would put them on the space that corresponds to the strategy card I'm going to play. So if I'm not going to play a strategy card, I'd put them at the top. If I'm going to play an attacking one here, a defensive one here, an attack and a defensive one at the bottom. Okay? So then that's locked in. Then, right, I'm done. Matt, are you done? Yes, I'm done. So I reveal that I'm playing 4 units. I'm using my 3 strength leader, a captain, and I'm going to play a strategy card. I do not have to reveal that card yet. Okay? And then, after we've revealed the dials, then I can choose. So if I had multiple attacking ones, I could choose which attacking card I was going to use, right? Then, and this is when you would then reveal traitors, okay? Now, revealing traitors breaks the rule of the game a bit, because the traitor is just so massive. If a traitor comes out, the loser, everything dies, they lose their strategy card, all their units die, and with the winner, nothing bad happens to them. Their leader can't die, the strategy cards are never played, like neither player's cards are ever played, none of their units die. It's the only way that ever happens. The traitors are just like the biggest coup win in the game. Let's presume there are no traitors, then you resolve the strategy card. So if you've got a rifle that kills my leader, you might kill them, so I would have to remove them from my board and put it in the dead pile. Then you determine a winner. You add your leader's strength to your dial and any strategy cards that have enhanced it, and the person who has the highest wins the battle. The loser gets rid of all of their units, discards the strategy cards they committed, but the leader their leader isn't destroyed. If you lose, they're only killed through traitors and strategy cards. And then the winner must destroy a number of units here, unless they use the traitor. And you can choose as the winner if you want to keep or discard. If you want to keep or discard the strategy card that you've played. If you had the same... if it's a draw on the number, the person who's higher in turn order wins. So turn order breaks ties. And that's it. You can only use a given leader in one space on the board on the same turn. Yeah. That doesn't come up that often. Now, if there are 3 people fighting in the same space, let's say I'm in a space and so is Matt and so's Sean, I would have to choose, do I want to fight Matt or Sean first? Right. Then I would fight the next one. Okay?
So you'll resolve all the battles.
The battle is fully resolved before moving on to the next.
Yeah, but let's say I'm wiped out I'm going to fight Sean. I'm wiped out, right? On Matt's turn, he would then have to fight Sean.
How does that work within the lines? Say you
allies can never be in the same space.
Okay. Ever, so you just have to give that region to your ally.
Your ally's got it. You can't do anything. Yeah. Right. There we go.
Is that what Ben did the whole time?
Are you filming now?
Yeah.
Great. I'm the Federation of Sol. So when I move, I can move 3 spaces instead of 2. By the way, when you move, you can move through enemy units or anything like that. You just can't. You can't move through the front.
Can you go backwards?
Which way is forwards?
2 to 3 would
So
be
you can do
forward.
30
Yeah.
It's not like a one-way street.
I was just checking. God.
Into the death we go!
Right, so my units are immune to the Sol Offensive Influence card. So that means that there's a special card that comes out the deck. This is something that everyone should bear in mind, called the Sol Offensive. And what that will do is the fleet will annihilate everything on the previous influence card. Yeah. Okay? So whatever numbers are in the previous influence pile, they're quite dangerous as well. Unless you're me. I can't be hurt by it, and if I'm in that space, I actually get to pick up, I can if I want, pick up all the units in that space and put them wherever I want. So, I can look at the top card of the bombardment deck at any time to see what's coming. And when I deploy, I can deploy any of my units into 13, 14, 15, 16 or 17 for free. I don't pay anything, but I can't deploy any other way. So I'm trapped in this little corner.
Good job, the spaceship's far away.
And that's it. Right then, so Matt.
I am Barony of Letnev. I started with 4 traitor cards instead of 1. I started with 2 strategy cards instead of 1. When I buy a strategy card, I receive an extra strategy card from the top of the deck for free, and I have a maximum hand limit of 8 instead of 4 for strategy cards.
Normally you can only have 4 strategy cards. Once you're full of your strategy cards, that's it. Until you use them, you can't buy any more or get any more or bid on any.
What was the limit?
4. Right.
You can't just.
What's a strategy card? This?
These ones, the secret.
The nukes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the attacks and the defences.
laser
and stuff
rifles.
So
like
what
that.
are these?
What are what? Sorry.
These.
Those are your ally
ally cards.
advantage cards that you would give to an ally.
Right.
So do you want to do Ben next? And
I am the Zalax Empire.
Zalax.
Zalax.
Or the Lazax.
Lazax Empire. We're all mostly dead, you know. When another player buys a strategy card, he plays the influence to you instead of to the influence pool.
So every time we buy tactics and strategy cards, Ben is going to get.
And I have loads of money anyway. As well.
Yeah, you're just rolling in cash.
I also have access to 5 mechanized units.
So you've got tanks. Because it's on your planet, they count as 2 strength, and they count as 2 strength for dying as well.
These units provide 2 strength during combat instead of 1. Deploying or recruiting mechanized units cost the same amount of interest as deploying or regular units. You may only recruit 1 mechanized unit from the casualty pool each game round. A mechanized unit may be chosen as your free recruitment.
Cool. Ben only recruits. Most people get 2 units a turn.
1.
Ben only gets 1. I get 3. So.
I get 1.
Oh, you only get 1 as well. All right, then, there you go. So.
I am the Emirates of Hakan. My race advantage during the deployment step of my manoeuvring phase, I can choose one of the following types of deployment. I can deploy troops as normal but at half cost, rounded up. Or instead of deploying units to the board, I can move any number of my units from one space to any other space at the cost of 1 influence per unit. Crazy. When any other player deploys units onto the board, they pay me instead of the influence pool.
Except me.
except you.
Yeah.
It doesn't say that on here.
No, it'd be because I don't pay anything.
So. And my special victory condition is I win the game if nobody else has by the end of turn 8.
Woo!
Yeah. Nick, do you
Stay
want
away.
to record yours?
Do I have to speak?
No, just telepathically convey it.
I am Universities of Jolnar. During the bidding phase, you may secretly look at each strategy card as it comes up for auction before any player bids on it. During the manoeuvring phase, you may secretly look at the top card of the influence deck.
That's the one that tells you where the points are going, where the money's going to be,
Okay.
or like if there's going to be a peace treaty, or if there's going to be like a bombardment or something like that.
Okay. At the start of a battle, you may command your opponent to reveal your choice of one of the 4 elements he will commit to the battle. So his leader, his attack card, his defence card, or the number on his battle dial. Good job I'm not playing many girls. If you ask to see your opponent's attack or defence card, and he informs you he's not playing one, you may not ask to see another element.
Is that's the lot? Yep.
Yeah.
Right. Should we just